Motor Nuclear, a company known for making these real hyper fantasy based mecha figures and model kits. No longer deserving the term third party at this point, as they really never based much off Bandai or other mecha model kits. They've always been very unique and much different than a typical Gundam design. Now they have started a new line with the MNP-CR01, a much more grounded and sci-fi based mecha. A much more grounded and sci-fi based mecha line. So let's see how well they've handled a such large change in design. So getting into the unboxing, we're greeted with a very Motor Nuclear sized box, with some great artwork of the model kit on the face of the box. And flipping onto the side, we're going to find some info on the kit, mainly the weapons and accessories. But there's also a little sneak peek in the corner, showing us that apart from each kit in the line will combine to form some really huge mobile armor type of equipment. Now let me get all this plastic out of their bags and go over what all we have in here. A whopping total of 85 runners, and those are going to come in gray, black, clear light blue, dark blue, light gray, blue, clear, clear blue, clear orange, gold, white, red, and an even darker blue, followed by a box containing our metal frame parts for the main unit and accessories, our instructions, and possibly the smallest water slide decal sheet I've ever seen. We need to take a look at the instructions. We got the same image on the front as the box. Opening up, we see the list of runners start, and it's always important to check your runners and make sure you have everything. Then there's a page listing all the metal parts before we get into the actual build. Now getting into the build of the kit, spoiler alert, Motor Nuclear is still great, and I only have one small problem to mention. And that, come on man. That is, it appears that some of the metal frame parts are listed wrong in the manual. I'm going to show some examples on the screen, but it mainly seems to be only mislabeled in the parts you'll need listing, but correct in the actual instructions. Other than that, the build was beautiful. We all know kits featuring metal frame parts cuts down on the build time, as we don't build a full inner frame, just pieces here and there, but it's mainly just building the outer armor. It has excellent plastic quality and undergating. The finish on the plastic is very premium, as is expected from Motor Nuclear. The panel lines are subtle, but just enough to add some nice detail to make it pop just a little more. And a lot of these clear parts have silver paint on the back of the part to make it pop, rather than messing with a shiny full sticker. And speaking of stickers, there are 0 for this kit, and they aren't needed due to the great color and part separation, including color separated eyes. And we have options here too. Man, I just can't today. And we have a lot of options here too. The blue and red runners are duplicates, so where you see the blue in this kit, you can choose to have it be red instead. I felt the blue just fit the vibe of this kit better. But overall, it's a great build with no fitting or building issues to note. So far, I'm really impressed with this kit. Even if the design took a little bit to win me over, trust me, it looks better in person than it does on pictures. But it's time we get over for some size comparisons. Alright, so the MNP-CR01, I'm about to butcher this. Huan C? We're just gonna go with it. It comes into a total height of 23 centimeters, or 9.06 inches. Here he is against the Master Grade Gundam Mark II. Our last review of the Thunderbolt Manta Ray, Master Grade Zaku 2, Master Grade Tallgeese, Master Grade Gundam XX, Master Grade Gundam X, Reborn 1100 GPO4, the Solomon GPO2, and the Lone Shadow. Alright, so getting started with the accessories, we're going to start off with the hands like normal, and we have a lot of them to get through. So we have a set of trigger finger hands, closed fist hands, some widespread dynamic hands, some relaxed open hands, a more like claw style of open hand, angled holding hands, and a standard set of holding hands. Here have the base backpack. We're going to go ahead and cover this because there's a lot we can do with this backpack later on. For starters, we got some articulation points here. They can rotate. And then the second part here can bend like that, twist here. We can move these all independently. This part too, as well as these. And if we come over here and we flip open this, and go like this, whoop, pilot. It's a cool little mechanism there that drops the pilot back down in the backpack. And this attaches, like most kits, just slot on the back, plug it in, just like that. Like I said, there's a lot to this backpack. So, just want to go and get this out of the way so I don't have to, like, go back and recover over myself, you know. Here we have the action base. Got a little nameplate there. Got some of these clear articulated arms here that can plug in any of these holes on the action base. We got these little sliding parts right here to help stabilize the base itself. And we got some of my favorite thing on these kits, and you know it. You already know it. Storage. So all your extra little bits and bobs can go down here, and we close up, and it just stays with the kit. This is your standard affair as action bases go. So we can, if it would let me, unpack that. Oh. You can move this, all these 3 directions here, depending what angle you want. You can also raise and lower this. Standard issue, lock it in place. We got a metal peg here, which you'll press in to unlock, and then get in the spot you want, and then lock it. Same thing back here, we'll take this and flip it up, and we can extend that back down, lock in place, and we can just move this again. It's snug in there. Okay. And also get a pretty good range of motion on the base there. And for attaching the kit to the base itself, we're going to get these little adapter pieces. We're going to plug it in there. And option 1 is to go between the legs. This is going to be super out of frame, by the way. Yeah, there you go. He's all up on there. Pretty secure. But as we all know, that's not my preferred way. If we get the backpack back on, there's a slot up underneath there. So we're going to raise this up for a little bit. Like that. Point it out up a little bit. Lock that back in. Then we just plug it up into the base. Let's get it. Yeah. There we go. And we all know that is my preferred way of mounting a kit with a large backpack. Because if you mount underneath the legs like that, all the backpack stress is going to be on your chest here, and that's going to cause that joint in there to wear out. But where we have it on the back like this, it takes all the weight just fine. And admittedly, this is a little flimsy whenever it's extended. So that might be a cause of concern. So I think what I would rather do, if you want it displayed in the air. Why is it so snug, bro? Come on. Ooh, there he goes. Okay, we're gonna lift that up. And we're gonna put it in there like this. There we go. That right there feels a lot better. All right, up here we have the beam rifle. The barrel can extend. We got a removable drum magazine, so we're going to unclip that. And then this pulls out, just like that. We don't have an extra one of these, so you just have to put this one back in there. And to make it a little bit easier of equipping it to the kit, the handle can drop down. And we're going to go for our trigger finger hand. And we just take off the finger and the thumb. And we got a little slot on there. And that is going to peg into our handle. Let's put the hand back together. And then we reattach it like that. So much easier that you can lower this handle down to get in there than try and have to go around the whole thing. So we're going to grab our kit here, and we get 2 of these adapter pieces for each side. And what we're going to do is we attach it right here to the side like that. That's going to give us a peg there. And then what we can do is pop off this like that. Then when we plug this into the hand, I'm gonna take this off real quick. Let's do it this way. Get the hand in there, and then we attach this there. This is again kind of hard to do on camera. There we go. And there you go. He has a little brace there to help him hold the gun, even though he really doesn't need it too much because, you know, we got a full metal inner frame. But the option's nice there to have. And this one's for when using the other side. Right. Polishing off just the little extras we get. Here's all those red runners we talked about before. So all like the blue on this kit can be red. And I just went blue. I feel like blue really contrasts because, you know, you already got white, a light blue, and then the darker blue contrasts it nicely. And then we got our smallest water slide sheet ever. And I just pretty much went with the base ones here on the shoulder and then a symmetry across the front like that. I think it looks great. These seem to held up fine. Come on, this isn't clear coat or anything yet. This is simply just marked softer and setter. And I didn't have any tearing issues or anything. Overall, we do get quite a bit of plastic and metal with this kit. When it comes to the accessories, we got a very nice array of accessories, which is, you know, pretty normal for motor nuclear. They tend to do that stuff pretty well. We have these 2 units here, and there's quite a few we can do with these, which we'll get over throughout the review. For starters, we can move these little parts right here and rotate them up and down. And this is what we have called standby mode. But it does have an attack mode where we can take this beam rifle right here, like that. And then you bring this other one up. We'll twist it around first. Bring the other up like this, and there we go. That is attack mode. So like little sentries that can like hover around and go pew 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 pew, you know. But if we put this back in standby mode, one thing we're gonna cover right now is just general storage when these aren't in use, and this is where the backpacks can come back into play. So we're gonna want to take off that. And what we're going to do is we're going to take off the little cups here on each end. And that's going to let us not do that. Oh, wait. There we go. So then that goes into there. And that goes into there. And we've made the wings way longer. So you can do that on both sides. So we'll take this off. I wish I had smaller fingers to do this. Okay. There we go. Then we just skadoosh. Oh, forgot. I'm a bit goofy. I was like, what did I do differently? We gotta pick up that extra part. There you go. And then you can extend these right here in order to get some articulation here. And big. And wherever you extend those, these little here go boop, like that. So, I mean, you really do just make the wingspan of this kit twice as long, taking up your precious shelf space. So let's get and talk about what we can use these clear stands for. So we're going to have a couple of parts here. Got this one, and we're going to take the fully assembled one of these, and there's a little part back here. You can see that right there. Take that out, and it's going to reveal a slot underneath there. We take this, and we just slide her in there. Like that. And then we take our backpack, go into that slot. I don't like how loose that is in there. Let's get a better fit in there. Okay, get that adjusted. And then we're going to need our parts from earlier to reform the backpack. So give me 1 second on that. One of those, and we plug it in there like that. Then let me do the same to the other side. Awesome for free edit here, you know. Just cut this out. It's gonna take me a second. Then we re-plug this in like so. There we go. Got a little fighter unit. And then what we're going to do with that, just bump the heck out of my camera. Same thing as before. Well, we use the same pack. We get multiples of these. And so let's just go ahead and shove this in there. Boop. Come on. Get me. Get me. And we put this on here. Like that. This is going to be fun to do while all in frame. And there we go. You can have the little fire unit displayed separately along with the kit. And this little arm does a pretty good job of holding this up. Because, keep in mind, there's metal parts in the backpack here. So, pleasantly surprised by that. It's pretty good tolerances on these. Alright, we have a second option with this part here. And honestly, it starts off pretty similar as the one before. Plug that in there. And we're going to have this peg here. And we're going to take one of these guys. And we're going to take off that. I have chipped my fingernail at some point. It's fine. And then we're going to bring down these thrusters to make room. So we can plug this in here. Like this. And then here we go. We have this unit displayed. And then we're going to mount this by the little slot down there. And we have a third adapter part that, once again, starts off the same way. We're going to just plug it on in there, like so. And then we got these little holes right here, and we're just going to plug the sides of these into here. I mean, that feels like a really snug fit. Give me 2 seconds.
2 seconds later.
Okay, yeah, alright. It's a little snug. I just had to get some actual grip on it off camera, and it goes in there just fine. It's just hard to do because my arms are, you know, outstretched. There you go. You have, it's a third mode, so you have it carry both of these units, and the mounting point is down there once again to have it displayed separately from the kit. But yeah, tons of options. They're all really cool. My favorite is just with the backpack on it. I think that looks the best. But hey, you know, options are never a bad thing. Here we have these little booster units, and these are the units that will carry over into like the combination mobile armor we talked about in the beginning of the video. As far as articulation goes on these parts, nothing really crazy. Just this little part here can drop down, and we can rotate these here on the back. And as far as attaching these to the kit itself, we got two main options, and there's some other options we'll do once we talk about the action base. So for starters, option one is, see the feet here, we are just gonna pop off little pegs here on the feet like that, and we're going to take these little adapter pieces and just plug that into the foot. Same on this side. And we line up with a slot up here, like this. Then we get that. And there we go. We got his little booster units here. And which, of course, you know, I don't have to tell you, he really can't stand when he's in this mode. But that's what the action base is for, you know. But it's still a pretty cool mode and fairly unique, in my opinion. But let's go ahead and get these off. We're going to come over here to his leg. There we go. And we're just going to take off this little peg here. Not peg, but cover. We take this, plug it into there, like that. And we are going to need to disassemble these partially. These are just in two main units, like so. And we take this, and we just do that on the side of the leg there. And this is referred to as like light equipment mode. So I guess in the lore, this won't be as like fast or powerful as whenever it's in its full like booster mode. I knocked a part off. I saw it hit the floor. I don't know what part fell off. I'm lost. What's missing? That's problems for a future me. Here I have a shield. Pretty simple of a build here. I mean, there's no like expanding gimmicks or anything. All we have is this little arm here on the back on a ball joint. And all we do is each arm will have a little slot, and we just slot it on here to the back of the arm. Just like that. Then you have the shield. And you can rotate up there. It's like a stored mode if you want. It's any which way you want to point it, honestly. Yeah, it's a shield. Simple, effective, you know? Alright, next up we have these two very large swords. I mean, just look in here. They are about as tall as the kit itself. I guess long would be the better word. For these, you're going to use the holding hands and the angled holding hands. Same way with the beam rifle. Take fingers off, plug this in, close hand over it, plug in the arm. But there's a little cool gimmick with these, and that is if we get this part right here, we got the same little two slots right there that's on the hands, and we're gonna plug that in there like that, and we take the other one and reverse it, and they're like that, and then this part will close over and sandwich with them, and then we have a handle to plug in there, and we get like a dual blade. And this is literally out of frame. This is like over a foot long when in this mode. And you can spin it on this a little bit. I think it'd be kind of cool to put like a ball bearing in there and just use this like a fidget spinner, you know? But yeah, very cool main weapon. And now, if you give me a second to get this disassembled. I should do that really quick. I thought it was going to take longer than that. But when they're not in use, we can take them into these backpack right here and upload it up. Oop, there we go. And I dropped the other one. I got it. We're good. And we just slide in there like that. And that's how we store the weapons when not in use. There is no storage option for the beam rifle, sadly. But there are for the swords. Now for his articulation, we got good head movement up here. Can look all around that way. And some side to side. The arm we can rotate all the way. Shoulder can move independently. We can get arm up. We can, of course, rotate. We get a single bend at the elbow. And I can't tell if it was supposed to be double jointed, but it's like really tight. I don't want to force anything. So, I mean, double jointed elbow is not necessary for all the cool poses, but it is recommended. But it's not that big of a deal to me, honestly. We can pull the arm out for a really good butterfly joint. And then we just push that back in like that. We got good waist swivel. Pretty good ab crunch. And if we look here on the back, we're going to see some parts moving there. We get plenty of movement here on all the skirts and any which way you want them to get them up and out of the way. Anything. Around the back, this little flap can move. You can move these up. And so this is kind of like a double-edged sword. So this kit does have a hip drop mechanic. But these legs are really heavy and sometimes they just fall down their own. So probing, kit's super stable for all the metal parts, but in the air poses that could droop over time. But we can get the leg up pretty far. Can rotate it a little bit up here. And then if we get that bend on, oh yeah. Got some great armor separation here. It's a very snug bend too. And of course, we can get that side skirt out of the way. Get the leg all the way out. It's not much of a problem. Get back a pretty good amount. Then up here we got a movable little part here. Got ankle articulation up and down. We can even get some good side to side. Toe great toe articulation there. Just can't go down a little bit. It really lets you go up though. So that's a little cool. And then back here, we got some little fins back here can move. Yeah, overall, solid articulation. Just a little loose there on that drop-down joint. Alright guys, once again, here we are winding down from the review. And what do I think about the Motonuclear MNP-CR01 of their new Blazing Stars line? I think they handled the transition from high fantasy model kit into more toned down sci-fi based mecha really well. When I first saw this kit like announced, I wasn't a huge fan of the design. It looked a little weird to me. And I feel like sometimes you have to really build the kit to really have it grow on you. And that's what happened with me. And I think what they're going for, because the name Blazing Stars, this model kit definitely has a star silhouette. We get tons of accessories. The plastic feel here is, top notch, as was the rest of Motonuclear's kits. They got the painted parts, all the good undergating across the whole build, with the metal parts fitting together beautifully with the plastic. No issues there. The only complaint being how sometimes the instructions are mislabeled, but translation stuff, that stuff is kind of normal. It's a very small nitpick, but regardless, any kind of comes with this kit, it would be that. But yeah, definitely get this kit ordered if you think it's up your alley. Really, I mean, the design is great for me personally. If you don't like the design, then hey, that's for you to make your decision on. I will say though, we haven't seen any other kits from this line yet, and it has those parts that will be used later on to form like a huge big mobile armor thing. So I mean, I guess you have to wait and see what the other kits are going to look at before I can say like, oh, maybe just get this kit just for those, because that'd be a lot to ask just for that one part. Overall, solid 8 out of 10. We don't want to throw on 10s, because that's the pinnacle. I feel like we haven't reached the pinnacle of model kit building yet. Now we're just rambling. So I'm going to wrap this up. We're going to get this up on the shelf and then start on our next model kit. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, guys, you all take care.